You know, some people think villains are born, but most of the time, they're made by pain, by pressure, by love that feels conditional, and if anyone understood that, it's Alison Arngrim, the woman behind Little House on the Prairie's most unforgettable mean girl, Nellie Oleson. Because Nellie didn't just scream and stomp her foot for fun. She did it because she was hurting. And Allison, she knew that pain, not just as an actress, but as a person. And when she walked into that audition room at just 12 years old, she wasn't there to be sweet. She was there to roar. She said, "When I auditioned for the role, I walked in and Michael Landon was there." Now, that's rare. Most kids don't meet the star, the director, and the producer all at once. But there he was, Michael Landon, the man who was Little House. Watching, waiting, and then he looked at her and said, "Allison, I need you to yell at me. I need you to say you hate me and make me believe it. No warning, no rehearsal, just go." And Allison didn't freeze. She didn't say, "Can I try again?" She didn't ask how loud or mean. She just let go. She screamed. She raged. She poured everything into it, every bit of drama, every ounce of rebellion, every flicker of anger she'd ever felt. And when she finished, silence. Then Michael smiled and said, "That's the girl." And just like that, she was Nellie Oleson. Now, think about that. Most child actors are told to smile, to be polite, to stay calm. But Michael, he didn't want nice. He wanted real. Because Nellie wasn't just a spoiled brat. She was a storm in lace. A force. And to play her, Allison had to bring out her inner evil, as she once put it, and she did. Not because she was mean, but because she knew that kind of fire. Because off-screen, Allison's own childhood was hard. She carried pain no child should have to carry. Abuse. Silence. Years of being taught to hide her truth. And when she stepped onto the set of Little House, she wasn't just acting. She was channeling her anger, her fear, her need to be seen. And Michael saw it. He saw her strength, her timing, her ability to go big and still feel real. And he gave her space to shine. Even when fans hated her. Even when kids threw rocks at her in public. Even when people called her names. Michael protected her. He said, "You're not Nellie. You're playing her." And that mattered, because without that support, many would have broken. But Allison didn't. She grew. She fought. She used the role to survive and eventually to heal. Because over time, something shifted, not just in the character, but in the audience. People started seeing past the tantrums. They saw the loneliness, the insecurity, the little girl who never felt good enough. And in later seasons, when Nellie softened, when she married Percival, when she showed kindness, fans began to root for her. And Allison said, "I didn't play a monster. I played a girl who didn't know how to be good." And that's the truth. Nellie wasn't evil. She was lost, and Allison made her human. Now, let's talk about her legacy, because yes, she played the meanest girl on TV, but she also became one of the most respected voices in Hollywood. After the show, she didn't disappear. She wrote a memoir, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, a brave, hilarious, heartbreaking book that revealed not just the fun of playing Nellie, but the pain of being Allison. She became a powerful advocate for survivors of abuse, a comedian, a speaker, a woman who turned her trauma into power, and she did it with humor, with grace, with fire, and she's never disowned Nellie. In fact, she says, "Nellie saved me. She gave me a voice when I didn't have one." And isn't that beautiful? The role that made people hate her was the one that set her free. And she stayed with the show until 1983, longer than almost any other young cast member. Through marriages, deaths, new characters. And still, Nellie remained unforgettable. because Allison made sure of it. She didn't phone it in. She didn't soften too soon. She played Nellie with commitment, even when it hurt. And that's professionalism, not perfection, but showing up, even when you're playing the villain. Now, think about that audition moment, standing in front of Michael Landon. Being told, "Make me believe you hate me." Most kids would freeze, stumble, apologize. But not Allison. She leaned in. She went dark, and she won the role. Not with sweetness, but with truth. And that's why Nellie lasted, because she wasn't fake. She wasn't cartoonish. She was loud, dramatic, over the top, yes, but she was also real, and so was Allison. So the next time you hear Nellie scream, "Daddy," don't just roll your eyes. See the girl behind it, the one who stood in a casting room at 12 years old, who screamed at a legend and changed television forever. Because sometimes, the most powerful roles aren't played by the nicest people. They're played by the ones brave enough to be unlikable, to be hated, to be seen. And Alison Arngrim? She was all of that, and more. She was fearless. And because of her, Nellie Oleson didn't just live on the prairie. She lives in our memories, in our laughter, in our lessons about kindness, growth, and second chances. And that is a legacy, not of a villain, but of a woman who refused to be silenced and turned her roar into revolution.